What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Fresh Roots Exotic Cars. I am Fresh Roots Boys. We're on a nice little canyon creek run right now, but I wanted to talk to you about something. Is the AMG GTS a McLaren 12C destroyer? Let's talk about it. So, if you don't know, I owned a McLaren MP4 12C for over 2 years and 30,000 miles. I daily drove that car and I was absolutely obsessed with it. I also served on the board of directors for the McLaren Club of San Diego. We had over 100 members, a bunch of 12Cs in the group, and my business mentor at the time owned not 1, 2, or 3, but 4 McLaren MP4 12Cs, as well as a fleet of other cars. So I'm very familiar with the 12C. Now, 2 years ago, I sold my McLaren to get a McLaren 675 LT. It didn't end up panning out. I ended up buying a house instead. I made the responsible decision to purchase a house instead of another supercar. But a couple years later, I was back in the market for another high-performance supercar or high-performance sports car. I began to look at the MP4 12C because my thought was, and still at the time, you know, even years ago, I didn't think you can even match the performance of a McLaren 12C for the price. They were floating at about $100,000. But it is important to know that you're not maintaining an $80,000 to $100,000 car. You're maintaining a $250,000 car, you guys. So as I was searching for another McLaren 12C, I started to realize that the market had shifted with certain cars. Not necessarily with the 12C, but with other manufacturers and other car models, such as this AMG GTS. This is an MSRP $150,000 car. The 12C is an MSRP about $250,000 car. So it's important to know that they are different caliber cars based on their window price and caliber at which they come from factory. The 12C comes with 600 horsepower from factory. The AMG GTS comes with about 500 from factory. But if you're a car guy, you know that these cars at the highest caliber are detuned. And they're detuned for a couple of reasons. One, to make room for the other iterations of that car, such as the 650S with the 12C and the GTR with this GTS. So they have to kind of make room and detune that engine that they're using so they can use it on the future iterations of that car, such as they did with this GTS. So people find out over the years exactly how much power these cars can handle. Now, 12Cs can handle a lot of power, but from my experience, the tuned cars did not do as well. I've seen multiple tuned 12Cs go into limp mode, and like I said, I'm not just talking about internet searches. I'm talking about my mentor owning 4 of them and a handful of other ones that I've seen at the track, as well as being in the club. Issues arise with them when they're modified, guys. I kept my 12C stock. I was under a factory extended warranty with that car, so I didn't want to void it, so I kept that car stock. So I'm back in the market looking for a high-performance car. I stumbled upon the AMG GTS, and I was actually shocked that they were sub 100 grand. You could pick up a great GTS for about 80 grand. Now the 12C is still floating at about 100,000 for a good car. So there's a $20,000 delta there. Also, if you're getting a 12C, you need to be aware that the maintenance cost is not on an $80,000 to $100,000 car. You're maintaining a $250,000 car. The parts don't just get cheaper because the car has depreciated. So the parts availability and price on the AMG GTSs are significantly less. So you can pick up a car for less and you can maintain it for less with a higher probability of reliability based on owners' experiences. Also, the capability of this M178 bi-turbo in the AMG GTS has a huge capability. There's a lot left on the table with this car, and with a simple tune of a few grand, you can unleash over 100 horsepower to that car like I've done. I'm on a stage 1 tune. I also have a couple of other little goodies under the hood, cold air intakes and whatnot. So I'm pushing a little over 600 horsepower as is. So I'm pushing more power and torque than a stock 12C, and I've had absolutely no issues. I had a check engine light on my McLaren 12C literally the day that I took delivery on it, guys. So you're gonna have a lot more issues with that car. I've had 0 issues with this car so far. So I began to wonder, can you just build a 12C destroyer with an AMG GTS, a tune, and some bolt-ons? My answer would be yes. Yes, you can. It's a lot more fun and a lot more reliable. Now, I get it. You don't have the cool doors of the McLaren, and it's not a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. It's a Mercedes, and not a lot of people know what it is. But boy, the performance is absolutely there, guys. And I'm only on stage 1. Eventually, we're going to go stage 2 with the downpipes, and we're going to get a flame tune. We're going to shoot some flames out of this car, and then we're going to upgrade the turbos at stage 3. Woo! Oh yeah, she absolutely rips. So my suggestion to you, if you're in the market for an MP4 12C, would be to take another look at the GTS. If you're in the market for a 12C, chances are that you're not 765 LT rich. Neither am I. Essentially, they have more cash than we do on hand, ready to burn and fix that car. With that said, I do love the McLaren MP4 12C. That car has a special place in my heart, and I do want to acquire another one as soon as possible. Will I tune it? Not sure. Really depends on my financial situation. And that's what I would tell anybody. If you have an MP4 12C and you're asking if you should tune it or not, it really depends on your financial situation. My mentor owned 4 of them, a fleet of other cars. So for him, he can tune a couple of his cars and not have to stress that if it breaks down, is he going to be able to afford to fix it? What's broken on it? Is he going to have another fun car to drive, etc.? I wasn't as flexible with this next car purchase. Could I have bought a 12C? Yes. Could I have bought a 12C and had an extra $20,000 laying around to modify it and to keep a little padding around in case something broke on the car? No, I didn't. So that's why I personally went with the AMG GTS. And with that said, I think this is a better car than my 12C was. I'm having more fun with it. It's more reliable. Again, it doesn't have some of the exotic looks as a McLaren would, but comparing this GTS with a stock 12C, it's significantly better for less. That'll wrap it up for today's video. Just a short one talking about the MP4 12C and the GTS. I do think a tuned and modified MP4 12C would absolutely destroy a GTS, but it wouldn't be as reliable. I do think a tuned and modified AMG GTS is a McLaren MP4 12C destroyer with more reliability. A stock MP4 12C. Of course, the McLaren platform is amazing. I do hope to add a McLaren to the channel as soon as possible. And guys, who knows? Who knows where this channel will go? Maybe we do get a 12C and we can modify it however we please, because the channel's doing well enough that we can cover those expenses. That would be the dream right there, guys, because it is an amazing car. The AMG GTS is an amazing car. And it really, guys, I guess the biggest factor here would be money, because obviously a McLaren MP4 12C that was just heavily modified would probably destroy this car, but it just wouldn't be as reliable, in my opinion. And I've seen nothing but reliability with this car in the stage 1 tune so far. So that's just kind of where I stand on the whole situation. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. Just a quick little comparison. Be sure to subscribe if you aren't already doing so, and we'll catch you on the next one. Much love.